Welcome to a GAU review. I am Eric Rickety Beans Rubino, and today I am talking about Wolfenstein: The New Order. If Quentin Tarantino were to create a video game, it would be most comparable to Machine Games' newest title, Wolfenstein: The New Order. From the first level to the end credits, Wolfenstein knows exactly what it is trying to accomplish, and that is to just be fun. Wolfenstein: New Order is a perfect marriage of the original stealth-heavy Castle Wolfenstein with a mix of Wolfenstein 3D, which is arguably the grandfather of modern shooters. This blend of pure stealth and pure shooter carnage ensures that the game never gets repetitive. From dual-wielding assault rifles to the upgraded laser craftwork, each gun feels very powerful. The impact of each bullet causes blood to spew and limbs to fly, making the enemies feel a lot less like bullet sponges and more like low-level Nazi soldiers. However, when there is a strong enemy, it is always visually apparent in the form of heavily armored soldiers or giant robots. Now, while the shooting is as fun as a shooter can get, the stealth is also quite rewarding. See, every so often, a rumor area will contain at least one officer who has the ability to call in for large amounts of backup. Players must sneak around, which is quite convenient with the added ability of peeking around corners, in order to silently take down the officer and avoid a massive fight. Of course, players can just go in guns a-blazing when they have overcharged health. The main character has health and armor levels that can go up to 100, but if you happen to find extra health, this makes you overcharged. You can make it as high as you want, but it will always slowly decrease back to its original level over time. This causes the game to play a lot more like Wolfenstein 3D than Call of Duty, so don't expect to just hide behind walls while popping out to kill Nazis, because every level has multiple routes and the enemy will flank you. The player must keep moving if they want to stay alive. The gameplay elements create a very unique experience and are all worthy reasons for playing Wolfenstein: The New Order. However, there is still a story here. While it may not be Oscar-worthy, it is definitely quality. The storyline of Wolfenstein: The New Order doesn't have a lot to do with past games of the series. From the start, it allows players to suspend their disbelief enough to make the whole game make logical sense. This time around, the setting is in 1960s Europe, and it is very unrecognizable. After participating in a few events during World War II, the main character, BJ Blazkowicz, finds himself in a world where the Nazis have won the World War II and they took over all of Europe and America. To add to the game's je ne sais quoi, the Third Reich has made some huge leaps in technology through some very gruesome experience that can best be described as torture. BJ is not okay with any of this or the Aryan-run alternate universe, and so begins his journey to find a resistance force and fight the Nazi regime. At this year's GDC, there was a talk about video game plot and how we all remember characters from games more easily than the plot itself. While there is an argument to be made there, players will certainly remember the new Wolfenstein characters more than its plot. BJ is not only relatable, but he actually comes off as a real human being, and the antagonists are equally interesting. They are all caricatures of pop culture's portrayal of Nazis. While the game does make use of stereotypical character flaws, certain cutscenes frame actions in a realistic light, like using sex as an escape both literally and metaphorically. For a game about Nazis taking over the world in 1960, the character motivations, or at least the sane ones, they make sense.
I've seen you before.
To top it all off, Wolfenstein: The New Order looks fantastic. The resolution of 1080p, 60 frames per second, and high detailed textures make the slight pop-ins forgivable, as they only happen after the game loading up after a death. The cutscenes in the game are some of the best that I have seen in a while, and the voice acting is top-notch. Oh, and there is a sweet bonus level that should be played by everyone. Wolfenstein: The New Order is the best first-person shooter so far this year. But that doesn't even do this game justice. How about, it's the best first-person shooter since BioShock Infinite. Wolfenstein: The New Order gets 9 Panzerhounds out of 10. Game on.
Hi, I'm Sean Baptiste from Firehose Games.
And I'm Chris Chung.
And this is GAU Studios.